Good day, students. We're going to be going over our algebra review problems. Let's take a look at question number 1. So we have 4 times 2x plus 2y plus 2w minus 3 times 3x minus 4y plus w. Alright, so what we're going to do is distribute the number on the outside across all the terms in the parentheses. So 4 gets distributed to all those 3 terms, and negative 3 gets distributed to all these 3 terms to the right of negative 3. So if we distribute here, 4 times 2 is 8. We have 8x plus 4 times 2 is 8, 8y plus 4 times 2 is 8, 8w. Now let's distribute the right side. Negative 3 times 3x is negative 9x. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12, actually positive 12y. Negative 3 times w is negative 3w. Okay. Now we're going to combine like terms. Before we do that, let's just rearrange terms in such a way that like terms are adjacent to each other. Okay. So we have 8x minus 9x, those are like terms, plus 8y plus 12y, those are like terms, and then plus 8w minus 3w. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and combine them. We have 8x and 9x. You subtract the coefficients, that's going to be negative x. So combine these two together, you get negative 1x, or it's just negative x. And then if you combine 8y plus 8y plus 12y together, you get, that's going to be what? That's going to be plus 20y. And then when you combine positive 8w minus 3w together, 8 minus 3 is 5, so it's plus 5w. Alright, so our answer is option letter D. Question 2, which expression simplifies to give you negative 15 PQ? So we'll just simply go ahead and simplify every single option and see which one yields negative 15 PQ. So let's start with option A. So for option A, we have 7Q minus 5PQ minus 8PQ minus 7Q minus 2PQ. So let's go ahead and place terms that are like terms next to each other. So 7Q minus 7Q, they have identical degree variables. And then negative 5PQ minus 8PQ minus 2PQ are all identical, are all like terms. Okay, so let's combine positive 7Q minus 7Q. They are opposites of each other, so they add up to 0. And then negative 5Q minus 8PQ, we can do those two first. So we have negative 5P minus 8P. Combine those together. What's that going to give us? That gives us negative 13 PQ. And then we'll just subtract 2 PQ from that. So we'll just bring that down. And then when we combine negative 13 PQ and negative 2 PQ, the signs are the same. You add and keep the sign. You end up with negative 15 PQ. That's what we want. Our answer is option letter A. For number 3, we're just going to set up a ratio. Here we're looking at dozen cupcakes and cups of flour. Okay, so we're going to put dozen cupcakes and cups of flour. Alright, so the first ratio, we have 3 dozen cupcakes to 5 cups of flour, so 3 over 5 equals, so the question is 60 dozen cupcakes goes with how many cups of flour? So 60 So let's call the number of cups of flour that we're looking for x. So 3 over 5 equals 60 over x. Answer is option letter B. Number 4 is similar. So a bakery bakes cookies in a small box in 3 minutes. Which proportion could represent how many boxes can be boxed at the same rate in 4 hours? All right, so we're looking at boxes per minute. So if you have, for every 1 box, it takes you 3 minutes. So how about 4 hours? How many boxes? So let's say x is the number of boxes that we're looking for. 4 hours, we put 4, but hours and minutes are in a different units, so we have to multiply this hourly measure by the conversion factor, which is 60, because every hour is equal to 60 minutes. So 4 hours would be 4 times 60. Okay, so that's going to give us the proportion 1 over 3 equals x divided by, and that gives us 240. Okay, so bottom line, you want to remember to convert your units anytime you have inconsistencies with your unit, because we have minutes here and hours. So since we're working with boxes per minute, we have to remember to change 4 hours into minutes. Answer to number 4 is option letter E. Number 5, the pizza store has 5 toppings for crusts and 10 types of meat. How many different pizzas can be made from the given options? So this is a counting principle problem. So all we just have to do is list out the number of different options for the components. So we have toppings, we have crusts and meat. And then when you find the product of the different components, that basically tells you how many number of combinations can be made with the components. Okay, so you have 5 toppings, 4 crusts, and 10 types of meat. So to find the number of different pizzas that can be designed with these components, you just simply multiply how many options you have for each component. Okay, so 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 10 is 200. So you have 200 different types of pizzas that can be made with this given option. So our answer for 5 is option letter B. Alright, so number 6, Mr. Torres knows that his class average for the last test taken was 85. However, out of the 8-9 tests, he could only find 8. The scores were 88, 65, 92, 77, 96, 95, 81, 85. What was the test score of the missing test? So we know the formula for average. Average is the sum of numbers divided by the number of numbers. Alright, so let's go ahead and do it. So the sum of numbers is 88 plus 65 plus 92 plus 77 plus 96 plus 95 plus 81 plus 85. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tests. And then there's a missing test that's not here. Let's call that X. Alright, all that divided by the number of test scores that we have, which is 9 in all. That gives us the average of 85. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and add up all these numbers. If we add up all the numbers, we're going to end up with 679. So we have 679 plus x over 9 equals 85. Multiply both sides by 9. So this cancels out. So 85 times 9 is 765. So we have 679 plus x is equal to 765. And then To get x isolated, we subtract 679 from both sides, and that will give us our final answer. If we subtract 679 from both sides, we will get x equals 86. Answer is option letter B. Number 7, which expression most accurately represents the difference between a number squared and a number cubed? So difference means minus. Okay, a number squared is x raised to the second power, and then a number cubed is x raised to the third. So the difference between a number squared, x squared, and a number cubed is x to the second power minus x to the third, which is option letter J. For number 8, there are 20 gumballs in the machine. The table shows the number of pink, purple, green, blue, and yellow gumballs. What is the probability that if a random gumball was chosen out of the machine, it will be green? So probability of an event is basically desired outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes. Okay, total outcomes. So we can use this here. So the probability of getting one green is going to be the number of greens, that's the desired, divided by the total number of balls, total number of balls, gumballs. Okay, how many green balls are there? There are a total of 5 green balls, so we have 5 over 20, 5 over 20, and then if we reduce that, we can divide the numerator and denominator by 5, and your answer is going to be 1 over 4. Answer to number 8 is option letter C, 1 over 4. Alright, number 9 says the school is hosting a spirit day for 5 days. The table shows the participation rate for 5 days. If on the 6th day the number of participants is or the participation rate is 94, how much will the overall mean decrease? So for this one, we're going to look for change in mean. Change in mean is the final mean minus the initial mean. Okay, so let's start by finding out the initial mean. The initial mean, using the mean formula, we talked about this earlier, the same thing as the average formula, is going to be 98 plus 97 plus 99 plus 95 plus 96. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that divided by the number of numbers we have, which is 5. If we add it all up, we'll end up with 485. If we divide that by 5, that will give us our initial mean, which is the value of 97. So initial mean is 97. Alright, so we add an additional data point to our set, basically the one for the 6th day. So the final mean is going to be this total that we have, 485. We just add one more, namely 94. And instead of dividing by 5, we're going to divide by 6 because we have one more data set. Okay? When you divide that out with your calculator, you have 96.5. So the change in mean is going to be change in mean is going to be the final mean minus the initial mean. So just subtract and keep the sign of the bigger, and you end up with negative 0.5. So it's a decrease of 0.5. Option A is your answer to this problem. Question 10. A candy store makes 6x plus 10 lollipops a day. Which expression shows how many lollipops they'll produce in 10 days? So for this problem, we're going to use the formula quantity produced is equal to the rate of production times time. Alright, so the rate R is the algebraic expression 6x plus 10, and the time T is given by 10 days. So the quantity produced is going to simply be the rate times the time. So that's going to be 6x plus 10 multiplied by 10. Using the commutative property of multiplication, we can rewrite the product as 10 times 6x plus 10. And our answer is option letter D.